In this video, we're going to be discussing the 6 transformations that a function can undergo. These are the most important transformations that you should know. Moving a graph up, moving it down, moving it to the left, moving it to the right, reflecting it in the y-axis, and reflecting it in the x-axis. These are very simple things to do. No? They are very simple. You just need to focus and you should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to write my answers on this side. And the new graph, I'm going to call it g of x. Ne? Remember, when you do a movement or a transform, you are forming a new function. So a new function is not going to be f, it's going to be a new function, which we're going to call it g of x. Okay. So ladies and gents, I want us to firstly start with the easiest one, which is up and down movement. Ne? The up and down movement, what you do is this. Up, you are going to add, because you are going up, you are adding, right? Down, you subtract. Where do you add and where do you subtract? You add and subtract on C. You add and subtract C. So which means you firstly need your parabola to be what? To be in basic form. I advise you to always take your parabola into basic form before you do the transformations. But you can always do them even if it's not in the basic form. If it's in the turning point form, you can still do your transformations. Okay, now let's see what g of x will be. So g of x will be this. You still rewrite your f of x the way it is. So it is negative x squared minus 2x minus 3, right? Then they say 3 units up. So 3 units up, it means you add 3 to C. So here I'm going to add a 3. Then the new function that forms is negative x squared minus 2x. This part will be 0. So that is the result of moving this 3 units up. Okay, now let's do B. Let's see what g of x will be if we take it down. Remember, you firstly write this one the way it is. Minus x squared plus 2x minus 3. Down, you're just going to minus 5, right? Because they say 5 unit down. So we're minusing 5. So up and down, you just basically write whatever function you have and then you add or subtract depending on whether you're going up or down, which becomes minus x squared minus 2x and then minus 8. And that's it for up and down. This is up, that is down. Okay, ladies and gents, now we're going to discuss left and right. Left and right. Left and right, you do the opposite. If they say move to the left, you add on x, on x. So to the left, you are adding on x. So wherever x is, you're going to add however units they say you must move with. And then right, you subtract on x. So up and down, you do at the end. So basically, you are adding on y and subtracting on y. But here, you are basically doing what? You are adding on x and subtracting on x, and it's opposite. To the left, you add, ladies and gents, and I want to emphasize this. Don't forget it. To the left, you add. To the right, you subtract. Okay, perfect. And then now let's do this. So they say 2 units to the left. I'm going to firstly write my f of x the way it is. X squared minus 2x minus 3, right? 2 left means plus 2 on x, you agree? So wherever I see x, I'm going to add 2, you agree? Sharp. So basically, this part here must be, okay, let me show you something. So it's going to be x, then, I mean negative, where there's x, I put x plus 2. Because I have to add 2 on every x I see. Then I have this minus 2. Where I see x, I'm going to write x plus 2. You see it? then minus 3. But here, remember, we had a square, right? And then this part on the top, you don't actually have to write it when you do left and right, né? Because that is not a g of x. Remember, that was f of x, né? So this is your actual g of x. I was just writing it that way to show you how it changes. So left and right, you just change where the x is. Now you have to simplify this, né? Ladies and gents, when you FOIL, remember you don't start with this. If you have a square there, you have to start with the square. Exponent first. So I'm going to have x plus 2, and then another x plus 2 because of the square. Then here I'm going to have minus 2x, and then minus 4. And then this one is minus 3 is alone, is not multiplied because it's not part of the bracket. It's just there. Right. Perfect. And then now I need to FOIL. I can FOIL in the negative first here. So I'm going to have negative x minus 2. And then, okay, let me get an eraser. So this negative will disappear because it's going to multiply inside, right? So here I'm going to have minus 2. And then now I can FOIL. So which is negative x squared, this times that. Then this times that will give me minus 2x, right? And then this is another minus 2x. And then minus 4, minus 2x, minus 4, minus 3. Now let's add like term. The negative x squared goes along. This one will go with that one and that one, which is minus 6x, right? And then this one and that one will be minus 7. So that's your graph moved 2 units to the left. Now let's do 1 unit to the right. Né? I'm not gonna FOIL it, I'll just show you how it should look like. So D, you're gonna have g of x. Remember, to the right, you just minus. Né? So you write this negative, which is there. Where there's x, you put x minus 1. So I'm gonna have x minus 1 squared. Then I have minus 2, minus 2. Then I have x minus 1, then minus 3. And then you're gonna FOIL and write it in the standard form, right? That is the reflection. I mean, that is the shift to the right. Now let's do the reflections. I'm gonna do the reflections quickly. Okay, I can erase this part here because we're done with it. Okay. Reflections, ladies and gents, they are also easy. They are also very, very easy. Okay. So a reflection to the right, reflection in the y-axis, right? In the y-axis, you make x negative. Ne? In the x-axis, you make y negative, right? So basically, reflecting this in the y-axis, it means my g of x is going to be f negative x, because reflection in the y-axis, I make x negative. So where there's x, I put negative, basically. So here I'm going to have a negative and a negative x. So I'm going to have the negative that was outside. Then you substitute negative x, you put a square. Then you have minus 2, you have minus x. Then you have that, right? And then here you're going to have, remember, a square is always positive. So this will be cancelled by the square. So here you still have negative outside, then x squared. Negative and negative will give you plus 2x and then minus 3. Then that's it. That's your reflection in the y-axis. Perfect. Then let's do reflection in the x-axis. Reflection in the x-axis, you just make y negative. It's like you're making f of x negative. So in the x-axis, you're going to have this. G of x equals to negative y. Remember, f of x is y. So you have negative y. Ne? But f of x is minus x squared minus 2x minus 3, which is x squared. Then this will be plus 2x. Then that one will be plus 3. Then you have reflected it in the x-axis. In essence, reflecting in the x-axis, you are going to switch the sign of each term. That's what it means. Ladies and gents, before we finish, I just want to give you a hint. Ne? Let's say we had g of x equals to minus x minus 4 squared minus 1. Before you do all those reflections that I've done, I'm firstly advising you to always just FOIL it first. FOIL this first. Ne? By FOIL, I mean do the multiplication and write it in form of ax squared plus bx plus c, because it's easier to do the transformation if it's in this form. Okay. Thank you very much. We will discuss more. If this video was helpful, please don't hesitate to share with family and friends. See you soon in another session of Maths Fanatics 24/7. Aluta continua. Tango.